This is Dan from Hidden Objects and NASA Images. Today is May 27th, 2014, and I want to look at this image and explain some points of interest to you all. This is from NASA's library, PIA 17595. This was done with Curiosity in December 2013. Now, the obvious picture here is this long straight line. I kind of doubt that that's done naturally. It could be, but like I always say in my videos, you be the judge. It just looks too obvious. Like maybe it was a wall or some kind, and these rocks here, they look too like it was a road of some kind. This whole thing looks like a road or maybe just a path because the rocks are just carved just right. Let's get a closer look. This is a tip image, so it's really going to bring out the contrast. And I've already did the image adjustment, so we'll go ahead and do it again so everyone can see the difference. I'm using Photoshop Trial Edition. So yeah, these rocks just look too neat, like they've been carved and placed here. That's just my opinion. You could look and judge for yourself. But as you can see, the background hills of Mars and the sky is a light tint. It's not blue, but of course it probably is. There are other objects in here that I want to discuss. But this looks too obvious. It looks like something laid these here in a line of some kind of fashion. The other couple of points I want to bring up, there's something in this picture here that doesn't look right. I want to adjust the picture even more, maybe bring out the brightness. So let's bring out the brightness a little bit. Contrast down. Okay, this object, as you can see, these are rocks here. That's a rock, that's a rock, that's a rock, and this is a rock. And maybe that's not a rock, but this definitely doesn't fit the profile of a rock. Like animals on Earth, there are the alligator that have scales. There are other animals like the gecko that have scales. Well, they're tiny, but these look like scales. They're not like, how can this be a rock, right? If it's all broken up. To me, this looks like a living creature because it's got scales, the way it's curved in. You can definitely just tell by these here, as an example, are rocks. This is something different. This looks like all the earmarks of some kind of living creature because it has all the scales. It looks like it's, it's alive. It doesn't show a head. Maybe the head is on the other side. Remember, Mars is not like Earth. It has a low atmosphere and a low gravity. And it's getting hit by ultraviolet, X-ray, and ultraviolet radiation, X-rays, gamma rays. Unlike the Earth, Mars doesn't have a protective shield to protect it. So whatever life forms there could be on Mars, and I always say that could be, might have to evolve differently than what's on Earth. This just looks too obvious to me. I mean, maybe none of this stuff is rocks. I have a feeling this looks like more of a gecko. You can tell because of the eye. Look like an eye there. It could just simply be a rock. But to me, it looks like, those geckos that have those big eyes. This looks like it's, and NASA's not going to tell us what they're looking for because Curiosity doesn't take pictures unless there's something of interest in the picture itself. I mean, NASA's only got so many hours to work with the rover, and in my opinion, they're not going to just snap pictures everywhere they go. They're going to find some interesting areas and start taking pictures like crazy. And that's the reason why they've been keeping pictures so us people can't see them anymore. But this is from last year, so And there's some oddities. This definitely looks like it's got an eye right there, if you can just see that. Like a statue or some kind of face on this rock. These rocks may not be actually rocks. As you can look up here, this is not natural. These lines up here, and let me get a closer view. These lines up here, and I just noticed it looked like part of something. So maybe this is part of this whole structure over here that got destroyed. And here's something that doesn't look like a rock with grooves in it. But this definitely has something other than natural rock formation, because it has grooves, deep grooves in it. As you can see, most rocks don't have that. And I'm thinking, the way these things look, they don't look like normal rocks. On Earth, you could tell a rock, but I've seen pictures of creatures on Mars, little tiny things, but this also looks like some kind of creature. I mean, I could be wrong. It may just be a rock, but it looks like this whole part of it is a body, and maybe it was a statue of some kind. You know, there's a lot of debris on Mars. They're not going to show us any more pictures. I've been keeping tabs on NASA. They're just not going to let us see any of the good stuff. They capitalize on hiding that stuff. But anyway, this definitely looks like it's got an eye, and it's turning its head almost to the point where it's looking in this direction. As you can see, it's looking over here. So maybe this is a creature, maybe it's not. But certainly this character here, let's see, is not a rock. I'll bet whatever I need to bet, $100, $50, that this is not a rock. As you can tell, just by looking at some of this is definitely artifacts up here. And that's some kind of mechanical or just some kind of debris. These are normal rocks. You can agree on some of these as being rocks. That's a rock. But this takes it looks like all the earmarks of some kind of creature, maybe a past, living. Unfortunately, NASA's not going to take so many pictures we can, determine if it starts moving. Now, that would be the crux of it all. But certainly there's some oddities about this. It just looks like it's got scales, like an animal would have scales. And rightfully so. I mean, you're on Mars, you're not on Earth. You've got X-rays, ultraviolet, gamma rays hitting the surface of Mars. So you would need some kind of protection to protect you from the ongoing deadly rays from the sun. And it just looks like it's a story here. This little creature's here, and this one's got his head turned looking this way. And there was a NASA film not too long ago, and the thing about it is they said, what if we do find life and we realize, what if we can't recognize it as living? That's the trouble. What if it is some kind of living creature that we wouldn't recognize as living? Maybe some of these rocks are actually alive and not really rocks. There's a lot of animals that can camouflage. The one that comes to mind is the gecko. He can change colors. He can blend himself into the background. So without a third dimension of this picture, it's really difficult to tell what these things really are. You only get one view of it, and you can't turn it around and say, okay, well, maybe that's what it is. But this is like a Rubik's Cube type of, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you, but it definitely looks like it's got scales. It just may be just simply a rock. But there's a lot of debris on Mars, and NASA just ain't giving up the pictures anymore. There's some other oddities. I'm trying to look for them. I don't think I see too many. This is a nice picture, though. It's a TIFF. It's a really high quality picture, and I wish that we would have more of these. But there was something in the background. I'm not sure what that is. Even if I zoomed in, it would probably get distorted. I'm just not really sure what that is. It's some kind of artifact. I had already, as you can see, there's something sticking up from it, like a helmet of some kind, maybe some kind of. But you can tell NASA has stitched these pictures together, and that's why it's a big picture. But why would they stitch it together? Who knows? They just don't want to show us what's really there. Anyway, this is my take on this. I mean, I let you be the judge. You don't have to believe anything I say. I'm just presenting you with the evidence, and you can make your own decision. But I kind of like the background. This is Mars, obviously. A lot of hills, a lot of mountains in the background. It's a long distance away. But these are some awesome pictures, even if they didn't have any artifacts and strange-looking rocks that look like creatures on them. But we don't get these often. Like I said, there could be debris out there. It's just if you zoom into it, it gets distorted, so it's not even worth going that far. So here's another thing right here. As you can see, this little critter could be some kind of mechanical thing. It's got like a head to it, or I don't know. It could just be a rock, but certainly. This is a fantastic image. I just wish we had more of these. But I think this is some kind of creature. You be the judge. And I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope to do some more in a couple of weeks. Thank you for watching my take on hidden objects and NASA images for May 27, 2014. Thank you. And please subscribe.